Hey again, everybody, it's Audrey. Thanks for stopping by again today. I am sharing another page as my guest designer gig for Cocoa Daisy this month with their April kit, which I believe is called Real Life. I've already shown a couple process videos with this kit, and I just absolutely love this kit. In the kit is a couple pieces of cardstock, just plain old solid color cardstock, which I do not use that often. So I challenged myself to use the cardstock. And instead of using it as a background, I am going to use it to make a large portion of my page, but I'm not going to use the solid square. My thought for this page is I'm going to be doing a page about how I only work part-time. I work every other day. I teach AP biology. And so some days I'm home and some days I am at work. And that is what the kind of half and half layout design is here. So I've just cut 2 half circles with my circle template, and I was kind of deciding what background to put it on there, because I knew I was going to put it on, since these were 2 solid colors, I knew I was going to place it on a patterned paper background. I wanted to jazz these up a little bit though, so I'm going to do some mixed media over each of these half circles. And I'm just going to use a scrap piece of cardboard from my recycling bin and scrape some gesso on there, and just kind of do it, I wasn't going for a smooth look. I kind of wanted it to be kind of messy. And then I grabbed some mustard color Heidi Swap Color Shine, and I'm just going to kind of smudge that into the gesso when it has dried. Actually, the gesso was not completely dry in some places. I don't know if you can tell that or not, but I was a little impatient. But it still works just fine. I got something on the paper there. I don't know what that was. So I'm going to go through with some golds and some teals, and actually, obviously when the gold and the teal mix together, they make a little bit of green in there too. So just to kind of tie these 2 sides into each other so that they're not such a stark contrast between the 2 different sides. And I'm just going to splatter some mist on there of both of these colors. And I'm pretty happy with that. I like how that looks. So once those completely dried, I decided to go with this plaid background. I love that plaid. I think it's so cool. A lot of these bits here are from the Simple Stories Domestic Bliss collection. So I have my 2 half circles there, and my plan is to kind of do one half as kind of my work half and the other half as my at-home half. So I got 2 pictures of myself, one from at work and one from just me sitting on my computer at the kitchen table at home, which is where I sit probably too often instead of doing things I should be doing. But anyway, there's those 2 black and white photos. I did add a little bit of white gesso to the background because just to make the circles stand out a little bit more. Then I went through all of my little die cut packs here, and I was just pulling off some die cuts and some phrases that I kind of thought went with each half of my life. So I was picking off some things that kind of go along with your home life, and then the other side from my work life. So I picked the little house for the home, obviously, and the little money sign for work. I thought that was appropriate. And then I did the same thing so there's the Simple Stories Domestic Bliss die cut pack, and then this is the Pink Fresh Studios Live More die cut pack. I also had the die cuts that I cut out that come exclusive with this Cocoa Daisy kit, so I printed those on my printer and then cut them out with my Silhouette Cameo. And actually, I showed those in another one of my process videos for the Cocoa Daisy kit this month, but you can see. So this is just me kind of fiddling around with this. And I have to tell you, I played around with this for a very, very long time. Picking out the little things, and I didn't want too many things because I knew the design would get too cluttered. And then it was a matter of, once I picked out all the things that I wanted to use, how in the world was I going to arrange this? So I kind of got my basics there. And then I decided that, before I start laying all this down, let me glue these circles down and make sure that they're just where I want them. And I was planning on stitching over each circle kind of just along I keep saying circle, each half circle, just along the edge of each half circle. So I'm gluing these down with my liquid adhesive, and then I will go stitch on them here in a minute. I thought about hand stitching, but then I'm like, I don't want to spend the time doing that. And I thought a lot of the hand stitching design would get covered up anyway. So I think I stitched in a dark green, maybe? Actually, I can't remember what color I stitched in. But I did use a colored thread. And then just to make the circle stand out just a little bit more, I traced around the edge with my white pen. And this is a Signal Uniball pen. And I like that white pen a lot. I went with some of these alphas, which are from Pretty Little Studio, and my title was just going to be part-time. I like that they were like a wood grain, very neutral, but you could add color to them if you wanted them to be colored. You'll see at the end I actually outline mine a little bit with a black pen, just to kind of add a little bit of a doodly design. And then this is where I was struggling with how I was going to arrange this. First of all, here's the thing that drove me crazy. You can see I lined up so the word part and time each have 4 letters in it, but because the I in time is such a skinny letter, they didn't line up, like if I put 2 letters on each side of the gap there, they didn't line up evenly. So that's what I had intended to do initially, but so yeah, that drove me crazy. So then I had to go with plan B and C and D and E and move these all around until I figured out something. So I kind of liked that. That looked cool. But as soon as I did that and I laid it out on the curve there, I thought to myself, you know what? This kind of looks like an earth, like a globe shape with the green and the blue, and then taking, bringing that curved element in, and I didn't really want to go for that look. So I ended up doing this and just separating the words part and time, and making little clusters of embellishments around my photo. And I also had taken one of those like die cut like label shapes, and it was a square with kind of frilly edges, and cut it in half because I thought I was going to do my journaling like that. I end up switching that out. I mean, I like that idea, but it just wasn't working. So there I switched it out, and I decided to keep the halves completely separate and not have any overlapping or any parts that kind of went together. So I took 2 other little journaling squares, the notebook paper I thought was appropriate for work, and then a little label for home. And then I just, again, keep fiddling around with little bits, moving them around. Okay, so I try to use everything, and sometimes that's my problem. When you have too much stuff, it's like, what do I use and what do I omit? At this point, I felt that my photos needed a little bit more emphasis. So I found some, on these kind of 3x4 cut aparts here, I liked the darker blues, and I thought adding in a dark blue, navy blue border on each of these photos was going to help it stand off from the background a little bit more. So just a tiny border around the edge of each of those. And then I actually left this page for a while, and because I was not completely happy with it. And I know we're our own worst critics, but I just felt like it wasn't what I had envisioned in my mind. I mean, it was close, but it just wasn't there yet. So I actually went and kind of just searched on Pinterest for a little bit, and I typed in like circle layout designs, and I still couldn't find what I was, an inspiration to say, what is missing about my page. And finally, I decided that what I was going to do is add some more color to each of the circles in the background, because I kind of wanted to highlight where the cluster of photos were. So instead of just leaving it half and half cardstock, I decided to make it more like a pie chart and add in some more wedges of color underneath each side where the photo is. So I went back to my circle template, because this is the template and the shape I used to cut my half circles, and I just cut out little arcs and little wedges for each side there. And I decided to go with the pink and the yellow because I had the blue and the green cardstock base, and then the pink and the yellow were the other 2 main colors that I kind of had going on. So I'm going to cut out some wedges from each of those. And I felt that once I I did that and put those under my photo, I felt a little bit better about the design here, and I liked how that looked better. I felt like it was kind of drawing your eye to the photos in that cluster more. So I'm going to speed this part up really fast here because all it is really is me just gluing things down. So once I had it all laid out, I just went through with all my liquid adhesives and my pop dots and my glue dots and all of my other kind of dots and adhesives, and just glued everything down exactly where I had it, pretty much exactly where I had it, and created all of my layers. I'm not going to show you all of this. Oh, I do add a little bit, a little layer of the mixed media lightweight sheets from Thermoweb behind my photos to kind of soften the edges. I fussy cut out some of those small little button circles from one of the pieces of pattern paper. And then I brought in some more of these stickers. I believe those are from Pretty Little Studio, and the blue ones are they Embellishments? Yes, and I thought it was cool because the green was on the green side and the blue letters were on the blue side. So that about wraps it up. I do go through and add my journaling, and I think I added a couple more splatters too around the page because I thought they kind of got washed out from the design. So that's about it. I do just go back through and outline those letters like I had mentioned earlier with my black pen, added my journaling, and like I said, all those other bits, and there it is. So thank you so much. Again, thank you to Cocoa Daisy for having me as guest designer this month. Go check out my other process videos, and also be sure to check out this kit in the Cocoa Daisy store. Thanks so much, and stay scrappy, friends. See you soon.